Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the SERMAPod. This is the podcast for the Sports and Entertainment Risk Management Alliance. I'm Rich Lenkov. I am founder and CEO of SERMA, and I am the host of the SERMAPod. We are well into our second 100 set of podcasts, and we are very grateful to our viewers and our listeners for their support. Today, we are very pleased to have three guests from a great organization with whom we have recently partnered, HIRMA. SERMA has a number of strategic partnerships. We just had a very successful event together. We'll talk about that in a moment, a few weeks ago. But let me allow you all to introduce yourselves and tell us what you do, and then we'll get into our partnership here in a moment. So, Carlos, why don't we start with you on the top?
Sure. My name is my name is Carlos Rodriguez. I'm a safety professional with Marathon Petroleum, and I'm also an adjunct instructor with Waldorf University in their safety program. And I've been a board member with HIRMA since the very beginning in 2015.
Excellent. Welcome, Rose.
Hello, everybody. My name is Rose DeLeon. I'm Director of Claims for Acrisure. I've been in the industry for 40 years and on the advisory board for about a year and a half.
Excellent. Noemi.
And I'm Noemi. Thank you for having me here. I'm really excited to be here. I am one of the newest board members to the HIRMA chapter. So I have been a board member since 2025, but I started as an advisory board member in 2024, and I helped create the chapter in Northern California and have now become the guinea pig of this expansion with HIRMA. So I'm really excited to talk about that today.
Oh, we're excited to have you. So, HIRMA stands for the Hispanic Insurance and Risk Management Association. Tell us a little bit more about sort of the origins, how long has it been around, what the mission is. Rose, do you want to tell us a little bit more about that?
Carlos is going to take lead on that since
All
he's
right,
been
Carlos.
from a
Yeah.
lot longer.
All right.
So back in 2015, myself and about 11 other like-minded individuals gave consideration to the idea that there were other Hispanic organizations, professional organizations for engineers and doctors and attorneys, some of them going back as late as 1970. And we kind of thought, well, what about the insurance and risk management industry? And so basically we thought that it would be a timely investment in terms of our time and effort to create the organization. And so basically our mission is to promote educational and networking opportunities for professionals, but we also look to educate young people in high school and universities and through mentorship on careers in risk management and insurance, as well as service to the community.
Great. Rose, I am going to turn to you now. What risk challenges are you seeing most often among your members, HIRMA members, or the communities they represent?
So many challenges come down to communication and resources. I've seen claims escalate simply because the injured worker didn't report it to the employer, or just lack of communication overall with the stakeholders in the company and claims.
For sure. Noemi, why is a diverse perspective, one that, of course, a lot of your members provide, why is that critical in evaluating risk and loss trends?
Yeah, I think we can all agree that we all come from different shapes and sizes and different backgrounds, and we have a different perspective in life because of that.
Yeah.
And we come and having different levels also within an organization of people's functions are pivotal, sorry, to really understand what is essential to create a successful company, corporation, enterprise, whatever way you want to look at it. But because we all have different perspectives, we really get to share unique visions and unique ideas on how to approach a problem and how to get to a solution that maybe someone, had never thought about. So I think that is the biggest piece and the beauty about having diversity in any and all levels is truly getting that perspective, and to be able to collaborate with people and expand your mind into different solutions to different problems.
For sure. I mean, we see it, we see it in SERMA, we see it in my practice. I mean, risk is not one thing, right? It's always evolving, it's always changing. It's always, that's what makes it so dynamic and interesting. And, that has to do a lot with the way people are dealing with these issues in our communities. And, we have to change with the changing actors and stakeholders. So Carlos, let's go back to you and talk a little bit about, continue this discussion about lived experience and how that influences how risk professionals identify and manage risk.
Yeah, I think in my own case, I worked for a number of different companies and held different positions. Like for example, early in my career, I did a stint as a maintenance supervisor, and so these different lived experiences bring greater insight into what's really happening within the organization at the operational level, understanding how different segments of the organization are looking at artificial intelligence, robotics. So, as a safety professional and engaging in risk management functions, it's important to understand some of the perspective of where the organization was and where the organization is going.
Rose, are there any misconceptions you think that are out there about risk management careers that HIRMA sees or that HIRMA is trying to correct?
Yes, I think the next generation feels that the insurance industry is boring. There really isn't a lot of people who really, grew up to say, I want to be a claims examiner, I want to be in the insurance industry or anything like that. So it's important, I think, to really go out there and try to recruit the next generation, try to educate them, to show them that, it could be fun, it could be sexy, it could be something where they're making a difference in somebody's lives, especially in claims. It's important to go out there and just teach the next gen and try to recruit and make sure that they understand that, anything that they do is going to be, if they set their full mind to it, it's going to be exciting.
You're making risk management sexy, right? That's not an
It
easy
has to
task,
be.
but
You know what? It can't be boring, or, people want to be a fireman, or they want to be something fun and, not anything in risk or insurance or claims examiner or even an attorney. I think things are changing on that.
But I think
Rick,
that's also the funny part about it is, you know, the misconceptions of it is people believe that if they have a career, they can't ever change over. And the beauty about insurance is that you can have any career and there is placement for you in insurance for it. We have insurance needs engineers to evaluate some of those catastrophic incidents. Insurance needs lawyers. Insurance, I mean, look at the people that are here. We all have different roles and we probably have very different majors, and we are essential for insurance. We have nurses. So every profession pretty much fits in and ties into insurance. And there is something in your life that involves insurance. It's the one thing you can never get away from.
Yeah.
You will always be dealing with insurance. And knowing that, having the knowledge in that environment is essential for you as a person to know how to evolve in life and how to understand life better, how to navigate issues and situations better. So I think
you know,
that's an
what,
important.
Rich, one thing real quickly, one thing that's unique about HIRMA is we do have a very open mind about risk management, the definition of risk management, insurance professionals. So, for example, we recognize, for example, there are human resource professionals that engage in risk management. So we make a point of trying to invite and identify them to come to the table at our educational and networking events.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
besides all that, I defy you to find organizations with two better looking bald men than you see on your screen in front of you. I mean, let's be honest with each other. So let's talk about our partnership because there's a lot of organizations out there, not just because we rhyme did we think we were a good fit with each other? We've got a lot of members who are members of both. What about, sports and entertainment and, your side of the business do you think made for this partnership? Why do you think this is necessary at this point? Anyone could jump in on that one.
I think just some of the things we have talked about in the need to collaborate with all different types of perspectives in the world, so that you can know what other problems are out there you may have not thought about. Especially California has a strong membership in California, and everyone knows California is the most complex state to deal with in
Exactly.
insurance. And so for SERMA to have that network expanded into the California market and these strong leaders that are at HIRMA with all of their knowledge, that's really powerful for them to understand maybe some things that they're not experiencing now, but down the line may be an issue they may be having. And here is a network of people that have already been there, done that, and can help guide you through that. And so that collaborative piece, I think, is just essential for any organization, as well as membership participation. When you collaborate with other organizations and affinity groups, you get higher participation. People are locked in. They see other opportunities at
Curiosity
events they can
also.
attend.
Like,
Yeah, for
how are
sure.
these two companies coming, these organizations coming together? It's exciting.
Yeah.
Collaboration is the next endeavor for everybody. It's important that all great minds think alike, right, Rich?
It really is important, and we're super humbled and honored to be associated with you all because of the depth of your experience and your membership base. And you guys have been doing this for a long time, so we're really grateful to be partners with you. And I want us to touch on some of the fun stuff that you're talking about because SERMA was formed. We're about 5 years old, and one of our main platforms was to have in-person events. We were formed right after COVID. So there's a real hunger to get together and see each other. So, we always are aiming to put on events that are fun, different, interesting, active, engaging, small, intimate. I know that's something that you guys are all involved in. I mean, I'm looking at your December 6th, your latest event was a holiday hike. We love that kind of thing at SERMA. We love doing outdoor events. We love doing active events. Tell us about that, why that represents sort of what your model is, and we'll talk about our last event in Nashville and what we've got in the future. So, who came up with this idea for a holiday hike, and how did it go?
Yeah, we have a holiday. We've done a number of hikes in the past, and they're just a really great opportunity to get everybody from the risk management insurance community together. I mean, we partner up with RIMS on our hikes, and for the holiday hike, we go out and do the hike, and then afterwards we go to a local restaurant and just enjoy each other's companies and celebrate each other's company and celebrate the holidays. And it's just a fun, very inexpensive event that people enjoy. And in California, we have the benefit of outstanding weather even in December to make it happen. So
And you also picked a trail that happens to have a Hispanic name. I assume that was quite purposeful. Gabrielino Trail.
yeah, yeah, it's a nice trail. It's right by JPL. It's an easy hike. So
Although I feel
Yeah, it
like it's
looks.
SoCal, that's pretty easy to get those names.
That's true. That
But
that is
I
true.
would, yeah, but I would also add, just having these small intimate events creates that comfortability for people to be more open about what they're experiencing in their jobs and to be able to connect with each other and establish rapport with each other so that they can ask some of those questions they may not be comfortable with in their jobs or in other environments. So I think it just breeds this awesome environment to be able to be open and comfortable. I think one of the things that a lot of our members feel is very special about HIRMA is it just feels like a big hug when you come here. Everyone is welcoming. You're in these smaller groups, and so you feel connected with them. There's a personal touch to it. Everyone knows you and hypes you up whenever you have an achievement or is there when you experiencing something negative. And so those intimate sessions and events really create that connectivity.
Exactly.
Very well. Yeah, very well said. Speaking of events, I want to give a shout out to our first ever collaboration. Like I mentioned, it was at the National Workers' Compensation Conference. It was in Nashville this past year. And it was, our theme was, it was the last party of the conference. It was a late night party at an amazing speakeasy. It was limited attendance, right? We only limited to a certain number. We had to expand it because we were way
Oh,
oversold and
yes,
way overbooked, but it was a really fun event. I think everyone who left there agreed that it met our goal of being intimate and collaborative and met, a lot of new people. And our goal is to keep that going, right? We're already planning next year, doing this again. And I think it'll be a great event going forward.
absolutely. I really thought that it brought our worlds together. Yes, we were oversold. A lot of people showed up that, couldn't make the list, but we, accommodated them. So it was it was a very good event.
The
It
lesson
was,
is sign up early next year, right?
yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I've heard great feedback, positivity, and just a lot of kudos to both of our organizations coming together and trying to put these events on to bring people up.
Well, we appreciate it. You guys and your team did an amazing job. Let's end off just with a couple of quick sort of perspectives on some emerging risk issues that I think our listeners and viewers would benefit from. Everyone's talking about AI, of course, how that's affecting risk, weather-related issues, something we see on our side all the time. Are those issues that you're seeing? Anything else kind of trending lately that you're dealing with? Anyone?
Yeah, I might say on the climate, for example, in California, with climate issues relative to fire and flood risks, in areas where they maybe weren't even thought of as being an issue, that there was no risk in certain areas of, say, Los Angeles. And now that's kind of all changing. And, there were a period where we thought drought was the big issue, but we've had in the last 2 years, 3 years, maybe heavy seasonal rains that have a substantial impact. So it's on an every or like for example, when there's heat in California, we have a heat stress standard that's unique to the state, and we have to employ higher protective measures for worker safety. So yeah, definite change, and it's impacting the way I think organizations do business.
For sure, for sure. Especially, obviously, as you mentioned in California, as we've all seen over the last year. How about we end with Noemi and Rose? Anything else? Any last piece of advice that you're seeing that you're dealing with in terms of your clients or your colleagues? That risk managers could fix or deal with to reduce losses. Anything like that?
I mean, I think it's very important that we start training our next generation. Succession
Mm,
planning is very important. There's a lot of labor shortages with everybody. So again, just, planning ahead, succession training programs, all of that is just very important to keep our businesses alive.
Yeah, I would say having business continuity plans. Carlos touched on some of these catastrophic events that have been happening. We were in a drought for so long, nobody prepared for any flooding. And that is important to have plans for any and all type of weather exposures that can cause some severe losses, and having a continuity plan that will help businesses stay afloat. Because I mean, I was talking to them the other day about just, a large retailer that post having these large piles of snow that piled up on the roof. It caused the entire roof to sunk in. Well, business wasn't going that great. They never came back from that. They never were able to recover from that loss. And so having business continuity plans are, I think, essential for any and all businesses.
The Hispanic Insurance and Risk Management Association, our friends Carlos, Rose, and Noemi, thank you so much for joining us on the SERMAPod. Thank you for your partnership. And we're really excited as we move forward in our strategic partnership.
Thank you for
Thank you.
Thank you
having
for
us.
inviting us. We're excited for this partnership and excited for the next
Absolutely.
events we will be bringing in together. Now you know. Now
Excellent.
everyone knows. Sign up early, because when we do
Sign up
something,
early.
You're not gonna
it is popular. So
It's the
sign
place
up
to
on
be.
time.
absolutely.
All right. Well, thanks so much, everyone.
you.
Appreciate it.